Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's creepy cryptid corner mini episode, today we're going to be looking at two very strange stories, folks. One involving a winged flying cryptid, and another, this boy had this childhood encounter with these alien beings who abducted him. Let's read the first article now. Boyhood abduction, hybrid children, and visions of other worlds. Do you want to go with us? Let's get into this article and read how this boy, how his world was changed after this encounter. At just 5 years old, a boy in Kane, Pennsylvania, stepped into a wavy blue vortex that would change his life forever, leading him aboard a massive craft where he met hybrid children and received a medallion from a female extraterrestrial who promised to unlock his hidden mental powers. But decades later, with visions of other planets, strange health effects, and haunting returns of these beings, he still wonders, why was he chosen? Let's hear the full account now. Kane, Pennsylvania, January 6, 1997. A witness, then 5 years old, got up to get a glass of water. When he returned to his room, he found a wavy blue vortex from which a voice asked, "Do you want to go with us?" He agreed and felt a tingling, static sensation. Suddenly, he found himself on what happened and appeared to be a polished marble surface. A female extraterrestrial who was about 4 feet tall with milky white skin, a small nose, no visible lips as he remembers, and almond-shaped eyes, not as large as those of a typical gray, greeted him in a soft feminine voice saying, "Hello, name withheld, it is nice to see you again." She led him up a staircase into a hall approximately 12 feet wide and into a room containing 12 beds, 6 on each side. One bed was empty. He saw hybrid children with medium gray skin in the beds, some of whom were jumping. An annoyed ET told them to stop jumping. The female ET gave the witness a medallion similar to one she was wearing and informed him that she would help him increase his mental powers. She instructed him to concentrate on her inner self and then passed through what appeared to be a solid concrete block. When she encouraged him to try, he could only go part way through and needed her to pull him out. After trying again, he succeeded. She praised him for mastering it faster than she had. Next, she led him through a door that opened by sliding up, where he met a male ET who was taller than her. The female had Native American cheekbones. The witness noted that the male seemed to be holding back his emotions. This part of the craft had windows through which he could see into space, as well as controls of some type. He looked through a window in the floor and into an area that contained a machine he believed to be a teleportation device. The craft itself was a disc the size of 4 aircraft carriers end to end. An older ET then entered and announced that it was time to leave, which made everyone sad. The witness later woke up in his bed, neatly tucked in, something he had never experienced before. At the age of 8, he saw a similar type of craft and estimated that when it ascended, it was gone, in the blink of an eye, reaching speeds of 60,000 miles an hour. He mentioned that they have crafted the size of minor planets, including one that was recorded drawing plasma from the sun, which can be viewed on YouTube. On one occasion, he experienced a vision in which he saw 4 disc-shaped crafts and hangars resembling those on a military base. There was a crowd of people who appeared to be in a trance, walking into a craft. He pretended to be in a trance as well and boarded with them. Inside, there was a bench on the wall with happy gray children sitting on it, swinging their feet. Several older ETs approached him and asked, "Do you want to come with us or stay here?" He expressed a desire to go with them, which surprised them. The vision then ended. When he was 16, he had a vision of being taken to a beautiful planet that was very bright, yet it did not hurt his eyes. He felt a powerful sense of peace. The houses seemed to be made of adobe, and there was one building made of bricks that resembled a college with a tower reminiscent of Big Ben. He was told that this building was where they received knowledge and stored information from other planets. On another occasion, he recalled military doctors operating on his head when a reptilian male instructed them to stop because the boy was in pain. Now, 23 years old, the witness has Celtic and Native American Iroquois ancestry. After his experience at age 5, he felt different. He struggles with short-term memory issues and often feels as if he has different ages, usually older than his years. He has experienced chronic nosebleeds and difficulty breathing through his right nostril. He also has a cousin who has had some similar experiences, although those details were not discussed. So in all, folks, very insane. Did this boy actually go with these aliens willingly? Do you suppose that they somehow manipulated his mind? Or is it all just a dream that he had? Now, from the physical symptoms he basically describes there, folks, that's not exactly telling us or basically verifying that his story is true, but it does point to the fact that, well, this guy does have physical issues, so maybe he really was abducted. And considering what it sounds like, folks, it sounds like the issues with his body isn't all that good, so maybe these alien beings aren't as noble as his story makes them out to be. Either way, let's move on to the next article. Emaciated pale-winged humanoid encountered on Monson, Massachusetts back road. Let's get into this story about this winged cryptid that resembles a pale walker, folks, and hear exactly what the witnesses saw. While exploring off-road trails in Monson, Massachusetts, two friends stumbled upon a skeletal, pale-skinned humanoid that unfurled massive wings and launched into the treetops. Was this towering figure a misidentified creature or a chilling glimpse of something otherworldly that hides along New England's back roads? Let's get into the full account now, folks. Hi, this encounter took place in Monson, Massachusetts on August 26, 2025. I was driving around at 9:40 p.m. with a friend in my Jeep, which I use for off-road roading. We were exploring Palmer and Monson, trying to find some trails to check out. At one point, we ended up on a road we thought would lead us to a trail, but it turned out to be a dead end. I pulled into a driveway to turn around and check my phone's map for directions. So, they basically were driving around when they basically were, well, trying to basically goof off and have some fun, folks, and they didn't expect to encounter this, well, truly horrifying thing they were about to meet, folks. Yeah, I mean, most of us basically have done this before, folks. Goofed off, maybe even out in the woods, but then, well, we don't think that anything will happen, and usually it doesn't. But here, folks, our witnesses experienced something completely different. So, let's continue with their story. While I was parked, my friend noticed something that initially appeared to be a hunched-over tree. When they glanced away to look at me, they caught sight of whatever it was moving and standing up straight. They looked back and saw it moved around in an unusual manner. My friend shouted for us to get out of there. Just as I was preparing to put my Jeep in reverse, I looked up and saw it too. That's when I realized it had wings. It flew up into a tree as if it had been startled. It appeared to be about 8 feet tall, and its wingspan was at least 6 feet, possibly longer. It had pale human-like skin and looked very emaciated and skeletal RN. All I can really say, folks, is if you saw this thing, you'd probably be freaking out. Now, if you have read about pale crawlers, if you experienced that horror, folks, this sounds very reminiscent of that. Now, this creature was about 8 feet tall. Now, that is what's truly interesting, folks, because like pale crawlers, they're mentioned basically being very large, 8 feet or even 12 feet tall, much like some Bigfoot accounts. So we have to ask, folks, is this winged cryptid related at all to pale crawlers? Because it sounds very reminiscent of them, folks. I mean, it sounds like a pale crawler, but this thing could clearly fly, which is truly horrifying, folks. Is it possible that maybe there's more than one type of pale crawler? Or the fact that, well, there have been various signs of, well, in the Chicagoland area of Mothman-like entities, and is this creature at all related to them as well? If so, folks, why do all these entities have such, well, similar characteristics? Bigfoot is about 8 feet tall, well, in most signs, folks, right? And then we have these pale crawlers that are similar size, and then we have the winged cryptids that are also at best mentioned basically being this big. Why are they so big, larger than humans, but clearly still human-like, but also off as well? It almost thinks, or basically makes you think that these entities are related to each other in some weird manner. It's been said before, folks, that all paranormal activity is related to each other. And here in this story, we have a winged flying cryptid that's very similar to a pale crawler sign. But unlike that sign, folks, this being was able to fly, or at the very least, jump straight up into a tree, almost as if it were basically a startled animal. So, like in these accounts that we read before, folks, is there some relationship to all of these different entities? We just don't know, but to me, folks, it sounds definitely that there's some kind of relationship out there. We just don't know what it is, but maybe one day we will. Hopefully, I really think so. But now, folks, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics That Are Bad For You. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell. That'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.